everybody, this is Jerry, and today I have a very special guest. His name is Jody Poff, and he is the head coach of Peak Submission and MMA team, and he's also involved with TFC, Team Fighting Championship, which I'm a very, very big fan of. So welcome to the show, Jody.
Hey, thanks, Jerry. Thanks a lot. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, so tell me about how you got involved with TFC. I mean, you know, when I first discovered it, it seemed like it was in Latvia, it was in Europe. So how did you get involved with them?
It's kind of, I was with a management company out of New York. They were kind of helping, my team out, and they called up one day and said, hey, we have an offer, and could you put a team together and go to Riga, Latvia, and fight on the Team Fighting Championships? And I'm like, yeah, I could probably do that. So we, of course, I did a little looking up and checked it out, and was like, man, all right, yeah. So that's how we got involved and put together a team of my guys, and we took off to Riga, Latvia. Had no idea what we were getting into, but took off and went.
Nice. So, what was your first thought when you heard Riga, Latvia? Like, was it like, what?
Well, first I was like, where the hell is that at?
Exactly.
Riga, Latvia. I'm like, I don't even know where. You know, and it's kind of funny when I say that to people now. It's just like, oh, it's in Riga, Latvia. They're like, where's Riga, Latvia? And I'm like, right below Russia. It's like right below it. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the way I was, too. It's like, where's this at? So, you know, then you look at it, it's right below Russia, so.
So the guys from Peak Submission, were they all guys you've trained with for a long time, or guys you've coached?
Yeah, all the guys from Peak Submission were all the guys that I have coached. I have, helped through the years, watched them grow and helped them grow in their careers. Mm-hmm. The first time we went, we did have one guy that was not a part of Peak Submission, that the management company we were with wanted us to let him be involved, but we didn't really know anything about him. Mm-hmm. Had no clue until we basically got on the plane and got talking to him on the way up, and mm-hmm. kind of found out who he was.
Yeah, exactly. So tell me that first fight, the moment when all your fighters stepped into the ring. What was your feeling as a coach when you saw these humongous ass Latvians?
I'm not gonna lie, I was scared shitless. You know, mm-hmm. I was like, what is going on? I'm like thinking to myself, what did I get these guys into? What's going to happen? I mean, I had no idea what was about to take place, and I told them, I said, just kind of, I didn't really. We really had no game plan. We had nothing. We just thought it was nice to go out there. And I remember talking to Mikhail before it started, and he says, so what do you think? You have a game plan? I'm like, I don't really think there is a game plan for this, is there? You just got to go out and go. And he says, he looked at me and he said, we'll see. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So, we had no game plan.
But it seemed like even in the first fight, even though that fighter that was not part of your team wasn't doing his best, like the other four guys, man, you can tell they were very experienced fighters. Like I saw them like really put up a good fight that first fight.
Yeah, all of my guys, they did. We kind of talked about kind of what to do. And of course, you have a game plan. As Mike Tyson, you have a game plan until you get punched in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, so my guys were holding their own, and yes, Bronson, MBK, he was doing good. Sean Barnett, he's always like our all-star there. Mm-hmm. He goes in, he's vicious, and he always gets a submission, first, and gets good control. Mm-hmm. And he had full mount on his guy, mm-hmm. was just trying to work, and really had several submissions, working, trying to get. But the thing was, we were looking over at the one guy that wasn't part of our team, and mm-hmm. we weren't feeling that trust, and we saw him in trouble, and it was like it just made my guys rush to try to. Sean was really rushing to try to get that submission, mm-hmm. it just wasn't panning off for us, you know, and that's one big thing about it. You've got to be able to trust everybody on your team.
Exactly. This is because if one guy goes down, then it's basically finished. So you have to trust every single one of your team.
Yes. It's got to, you know, one thing that people don't understand about this, there is a game plan to it, and there is a lot of trust. You have to be able to trust the guy beside you, because you're going to war with him, and if you're questioning what he's doing over there, if you're questioning, you know, his capabilities, it's not going to happen. I mean, you're gonna be worried about him too much, be looking over your shoulder, and not worried about your man, and not doing the job that you're set there to do.
Yeah, exactly. So the first fight kind of didn't go as planned, but then the second fight, man, you guys rallied, you guys fought DH, and you guys beat them. So tell me about that second fight right before. Did you like rally your team, be like, we got to win this? What was the thought process?
Yeah, we went back in the locker room, and I talked to my guys, and I told them, I told the other guy, I'm like, you know, I got to sit you down. You know, I'm like, I need to bring my guys in, and he was okay with it. He was pretty banged up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I told my guys, and I said, I know the game plan. I know what we got to do. So I set them down. We went over the game plan, and I said, you know, this is how I want to do it. Just listen to my voice. Don't worry about anybody else. You just worry about your man and listen for my voice, and I will direct you if somebody's in trouble, and I will tell you how it's going. And, you know, my guys are used to hearing my voice, and they're used to that. And I tell you what, they went out there and did everything I asked, and, you know, we got that victory.
Yeah, exactly.
It was huge. It was huge for us to get that victory, because we didn't want to be the team that showed up, you know, because let's face it, when we showed up, everybody's like, oh, you got a USA team. We were like the bullseye. Everybody wanted us. They wanted to take us out, because everybody hates America. So.
Exactly. Everyone hates America, and everyone hates the Swedish team. That's why the Swedish team kept getting pounded in. Like if you look at the comments, man, the comments on the YouTube videos, it's disgusting. Like everyone's talking trash about America and Sweden. Like they're talking about Sweden, how they're so accepting towards immigrants. They're like, yeah, the only reason Sweden lost is because they only have immigrants. And then they made the comments, like all these, like probably Polish guys or whatever, kept making fun of Jewish people in America so bad.
It's you know, and the Swedish guys, you know, I'll be honest, I spoke to them. We all spoke to them after it was all over with, and they're really good guys. But I mean, all of them are really good guys. They're just hooligans. They were there just because they enjoyed it. You know what I mean? They weren't there they didn't care if they won. And as I was like, man, you guys probably shouldn't be here.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
You know, this is not just, but to them it was just fun, and they were there because, I mean, heck, they were out the night before, I mean, partying and drinking and doing their thing, and, you know, my guys are all, you know, professional fighters, they're relaxing, eating proper, you know what I mean, been training, and it's like, yeah, that's not gonna work out well.
Exactly.
So, but hey, you know, each their own.
Yeah. So after the second fight, you know, we proved America can win. And then when the final fight between the Poles and the Latvians, were you guys sort of in the back watching, or were you in the locker room?
No, we came out. I mean, it's crazy because you got a 30,000 seat venue there, and it's like, and then there's no fans in there, so there's players. So we would go up. We found a little spot in the stands so we could watch the other fights. And we went back to the locker room and kind of relaxed because you got some time. And we just we kind of watched it, and then we would kind of see things, what would work, what wouldn't work, and you know, we would sit as a group and kind of talk about it, and we was, you know, always trying to plan out the next one and, you know, see where we could be.
Exactly. And that last fight was also like that one Latvian dude just like didn't see the other guy come from the side when he was on the ground, and then he suddenly lost, and then bam, it was a domino effect from there. That was a very interesting fight.
Yeah. It's, you know, and that's the way it is. I mean, you got to be able to contain your guy, because if your guy, you can't contain your guy, he's going to be running around free. And, you know, and if somebody's not looking and he takes a kick to the side of the head or a punch or something like that, you know, it could be devastating.
Yeah, exactly. And so for those of you just watching now, I don't know who's going to watch this video, but I'm just going to give you guys a brief sort of like summary of what TFC is. It's basically 5 versus 5 MMA fighting, and it's down to the last man standing. So you have 5 person on one team, 5 person on the other team. They go in and fight, do whatever styles, and then until the last person on the last team gets knocked out or taps out or gives up, it doesn't end. So that's what we're talking about right now for those of you tuning in. So after you guys saw the last fight and then you guys flew back to America, did you guys like sort of like get together and say, okay, we got to do the next season, or was it kind of going into the next season was kind of like a later on plan?
No, my guys, we were sitting there and my guys were hooked. They were all in. They were like, this is what we want to do. And they're like, man, I mean, some of my guys were willing to just stop their MMA career because this is what they wanted to do. And they were all in. And we started working and started really, looking at things and figuring out, okay, when was the next one? And I got a hold of Mikhail, and we're like, when's the next one? Let's go. Let's do this. And Mikhail and I, we grew a good bond and friendship, and then my guys just kept working, and we were ready, and we wanted to go back. We knew that once we left, we said we wanted the Poland team. We're like, we want the Poland team. We want to go back. We want to make a statement. We want to show them that, okay, the first time we didn't really know what we was getting into, but now we do, and we're there to win, and we're going to show you that we're ready. So we wanted to go back like now. We were ready.
I think between the first and second season, it was a year, right? So you guys trained up for a year?
Yeah, we trained. And yes, my guys, they had fights. They had to go to. They had other, they had some fights in between, and we worked in training. And they still kept going, but we spent a lot of time in the gym and really preparing. And the guys, I knew when it kept getting closer, and once we knew when, because the first time we went over, we were small. We were small. Sean Barnett, he was fighting, when he was fighting MMA, he was fighting at 125. Curtis was fighting, at MMA at 135. Bronson was fighting 180, about 170. So my guys were small. We were by far the smallest team there. And when we knew we was going back, my guys started bulking up, putting on weight, not cutting and feeling good. So we went back a little. The second time we were a little heavier, we were just well prepared for the second time. We were ready. Yeah. So and having a little bit more weight helped us out. So it was really good. Yeah,
and I remember him seeing Rhino the second time around. Man, he was humongous. I was like, wow, that guy was the size of the Latvians.
Yeah, he was Ryan works a lot on getting stronger, getting bigger. So we worked on a lot of different things. The guy like Bronson, he didn't do it the first time. He kind of cut down a little bit. He didn't. When he came the second time, Bronson was around 200 pounds. Sean was even up around about 175, 180. Curtis was up around 170. So the guys, we were a little bit bigger and stronger the second time we went, and plus with a little bit more knowledge, it really helped us out.
Exactly. And then you guys had that first fight with the Polish, and the Polish were favored to win because they won the previous 2 seasons, and bam, the Polish got. But it was kind of an awkward fight because they started before Sergey told them to. It was like all these weird things happened during that fight.
Well, they were pumped up. Of course, they had a chance. They knew they had a chance to go against the Americans. So they were hungry, but they didn't realize we were hungry too. That's the fight we wanted. We were excited. With the hooligans, they go and they do their chants, and we were getting ready and behind the scenes, and they're chanting at us and just looking at us, doing their thing. And my guys were unfazed by it. We're just like, was kind of laughing at them, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to feed into this. I'm like, what do they want to do? Let's beat it. So I just started chanting back at them. I just started looking at them and be like shaking my head at them, laughing. And it made them so mad. I think it was, they're used to intimidating guys. And I was just sitting there laughing. My guys were just looking at them laughing like, you don't face us. You know what I mean? It's like you can, and they were so mad. And they were like so out of their game that they weren't even focused. It was great. I could see it. They were just so, and that's why they just took off. And, you know, and lucky for them, because if you've seen it, right when they first came before the thing, Rhino dropped their guy.
I saw that.
With the right hand, and he was out.
Yeah.
He was out. And Ryan broke his hand in that fight.
Wow.
I mean, on that punch, he broke his hand. And that dude stopped, and then, I mean, because he was done. And then they stopped and said we had to restart. And then Ryan, if you look real close, you see Ryan walk over to me, and he goes, my hands, because he broke it the first time we went, and this is the second time he came back, and he just got it fixed. And he said, I broke my hand again. I'm like, no. He goes, yeah, I broke it. Wow. I'm like, well, what are you going to do? He goes, I'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And I said, okay. You know, I mean, he said, all right. So we went back, and it was fine. I mean, but Ryan, from that whole tournament, Rhino fought with a broken hand. I mean, a severe broken hand where, you know, he had to have surgeries and pins, and again, you know, I had to have a second surgery on that hand. I mean, and, you know, it's funny because the Poland said, oh, this and the other. Well, guess what? We were fighting with a guy with a broken hand. Yeah. You know, I mean, so they were so upset. Then when we beat them, I mean, they kept trying to say, when Sean submitted to one guy, I mean, they're like, well, he didn't tap. Well, he did tap, but even if he didn't tap, Sean was going to rip his arm off.
Yeah.
I mean, the ref saw that.
Yelled.
The ref's like, yeah, he was screaming. And Sean was going to rip his arm off, and when you yell, that is a verbal submission.
Yeah.
And also, the ref, they're not there to let you get your, I mean, understand, they're tough. The Polish are tough dudes, man. They are. They're tough dudes. And the ref is not there to let you get your arm snapped into, because Sean, trust me, Sean would have snapped his arm.
Yeah.
You know, and that guy wasn't going to get out of that. So he made the right thing to stop it. And then when they stood up, the guy hit Sean in the back of the head with a punch. Yeah. And I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah. So, and then, of course, they lost to one guy, and then it was just domino effect from there. And I was at the point where they didn't want to tap, you know, because they have this pride that they were not going to, and I give them all the credit in the world for that, but I'm just like, man, you got, the one guy, I'm like, dude, you got 5 guys on one, you're not going to win. Yeah. You know, live to fight another day, get out of there. And then he took a beating, and it's like, dude, oh man. Yeah. But I can't, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not the guy like them that want to bash us. I mean, I'll tell you, the Polish guys, they're ruthless guys. Yeah. They're mean dudes. They come to fight.
Yeah, exactly. Like that fight when they fought the Russians, man. They like a few of the Russians had blood everywhere. It was crazy.
Yeah, they're very, very tough guys, and you know, a lot of them are, you know, they're in camps, and you know, they're trained fighters. So and you know, the first time. You know, because there is a weight class, and people don't understand that, but there is a weight class. There's a certain amount of weight that you're allowed to have, and you can't exceed it. But the first time we went over, as you saw, they exceeded the weight limit big time. They were way overweight, and it's like, so the second time we're like, hey, if you're going to enforce the weight, then you need to enforce the weight, because these guys were, I mean, every one of their team was, you know, 250 plus. Damn. You know what I mean? It's like, and if they weren't, they're at least 230 or so, and they're like, come on, these guys are monsters. Yeah. When you actually let the rules be the rules, when you sit down at the round table and you go over the rules like we did, and you start, it kind of evens out the playing field to where it's more of an exciting match, because everybody's you know, the rules are there for a reason. Exactly. So it becomes an actual fight of skill and not just a big guy pounding a little guy. Yes. And so you guys sat down and talked about the rules. Was this after season 2 or was this after season 1? You know, the first one we went down on season 2, we sat down before we went in, and we talked about the rules, and we said, okay, what can we do? And we took a few things out from the first season. Because the first season was just brutal. That was just chaos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were just going crazy, hit back of the head, and, you know, stomping, doing whatever. So we sat down, and you know, each coach from each team sat down with Mikhail and Sergey and the rest, and we all had a roundtable discussion of, okay, let's talk about these rules. Let's tweak them a little bit, and let's make them a little bit safer. So we did. We took out, you know what I mean, the groin shots, the back of the head shots, you know what I mean, you know, and so we took out a few things here and there. You know, and then the fights happened. Then when we went back for number 3, we all sat down again at the round table, and we did it again. And we took out a couple more. And we kind of made it almost unified pride rules, if you will.
Oh,
okay. The old pride days where you're allowed still, because, you know, they said, hey, we still got to let the soccer kicks, but let's take away the head stomps.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're like, great. You know, I'm good with that. You know, because nowhere where we fight is there head stops or even soccer kicks allowed. So, you know, the soccer kicks were unusual for us, but hey, we're like, we can deal with it. You know what I mean? We can deal with it. So then we tweaked a little bit more. You know, submissions were allowed, no groin shots, you know, no back of the head shots. And, you know, they said, hey, if you notice, like, you know, a couple guys, if you have one guy down and there's 3 guys on them, only one's allowed to punch him in the face at the one time. The other ones, all they can do is hold him or hit to the body.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of rules in there that people don't realize because they don't take the time to sit down and really look at what's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, just like when UFC first came out, everybody was like, oh, it's human cockfighting. It's horrible. It's, somebody don't get killed. And then now it's like, oh, now it's almost at the point where people are like, well, we want more. What can I do now? What can I do now? Can they, you know, it's like, okay, so now you want more. Well, again, rules are there for a reason, so people don't get killed. And, you know, that's kind of what we did, and we kept tweaking them. And, you know, if we went back for number 4, and hopefully someday we do, we'll tweak them again.
Exactly.
We'll tweak them again, and we'll say, okay, let's look at the reviews, let's look at the comments, let's see what we can do. How can we, because the idea was to make it to where it would be accepted by everyone.
Exactly.
But still not take the excitement out of it. So, you know, it was a work. It's been a work in progress.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can tell even going from season 2 to 3, like there was so much, like the uniforms got better, like a lot of things you can tell got better, and even going from 1 to 2, man, that was a big change. But like you guys had everyone had the same sort of like logos and everything, but it is like you can tell this sport was really becoming like a real sport, and I'm so psyched for the next season too. I hope you guys do it, and I hope whatever I can do help you guys.
Well, I mean, you know, that's the whole thing. We're trying, you know, for those of you that are the fans of it and that will listen to this, know that we're doing everything we can to continue. We want it. I talked to Sergey. You know what I mean? I've talked to Sophie. He's working on behind the scenes. He's doing his thing. You know, I'm doing mine. Mikhail, I mean, we're all doing what we can to try to figure out. Of course, just like anything, Mikhail has been fronting this all himself. It was his vision. He took it from a vision to what it is. You know, and of course, it's just like, you know, I mean, with anything else, you need supporters. You need backing. You need certain things because, you know, you get a well, and sometimes that well starts to run close, and it's like, okay, how can we refill this well? What do we need to do? So that's where we're at now, and we know we got the excitement. We tried several avenues, and I think in time it will. But it just takes the right people to get involved, and hopefully we get there. Hopefully we get there.
So if someone's a fan of TFC, they've either found it on YouTube or found it somewhere, what can they do right now to sort of help out?
You know, I know on our YouTube, we're selling, some of the TFC gear. We have TFC gear for sale on our Team USA page. The biggest thing is just be heard. You know what I mean? Tell us. Get on the TFC website, YouTube. Watch it on the YouTube channels, on our Team USA page. Just be heard. Let us know, hey, that you're supporting it, that you want it more, and maybe get a hold of the right people and say, man, you see this. More people see it, then maybe we'll get the right people to say, hey, we want to sponsor that. We want to get behind that. We want to help it grow. And just like the days of the UFC when it first started, everything. You need the certain people, they were striving to get the little sponsors here and there. Then it took the mainstream sponsors, the people that said, you know what? Yeah, I want to be a part of this. Let's do it.
Yeah.
When you get that, that's when everything grows. I mean, money doesn't grow on trees, and, and certain people have it. Certain, and unfortunately, a thing like this, it takes a lot of money to put on. It's a big production.
That's right. And I think like one of the things I've been doing is all my martial art friends, I've been just showing this to them. Like all my Brazilian jiu-jitsu friends who are like, brown belts or whatever. I'm like, dude, watch this. See what you think from your BJJ standpoint. I've been just sending this to everyone. So I guess I would encourage fans to do that too. We all know a few martial artists in our lives, man. Let's show this all to them.
Yeah, the word of mouth is the best advertisement, as well as I do. That's the best way, and getting people to see it, and just getting people to it, and getting that interest again. And I believe in it. I believe we'll get there again, and I believe that we'll, and I know, and I'm not going to sit there. I'm saying that because I know there's still people trying, there's still people working. Mikhail, he's the man behind me. He has the patent on everything. The TFC is his, and I've talked to him several times, and I know that he's, I've talked to him about getting. He said, hey, we can do no, and let's figure it out. So it's that process right now. So it's hopefully we get it to that point, and the right people get aboard, and we take off. And we'd love to get it here in the States. We'd love to get it in the States and try to get it more mainstream, get it where more people can see it. That's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. It's going to take some time. But we do have a place. We can always do it overseas, but we'd love to do it here in the States, because we want it to go big, just like anything else. We're not saying we're here to take over the world or take over anything else or get in battles with any other organization. We're just here to be heard, be seen, and make our place. That's it.
Exactly. And I really see the martial artist spirit in you. So tell me more about sort of your journey as a martial artist.
Martial arts is, something I've always been into, been in karate, started out like a lot of kids should do. You've got to get into that discipline, get into the karate field. I started out with karate. As I got older, I wanted more. I wrestled. Wrestled in high school, and that was good. And then, it worked against me, and I had little anger issues, and got in trouble doing some things, that one of fighting kind of overtook the discipline part of me. And so, I got in some fights I wasn't supposed to, and then, so I just started then I started to do a little boxing, little kickboxing, then some Muay Thai, and, started going through, got with some great people, got under a karate instructor, Jody Poff, took me under his wing, kind of taught me, the discipline side of it, and said, okay, if you're going to do this, let's be respectful. Let's learn, the art. Let's learn the art instead of just the fighting. And I'm like, okay. So Jody Poff took me under his wing. He taught me, I'm very thankful for that man. He showed me a lot, and I have so much respect for him. And then just led to me going to, other trainers like Scott Sheely, then working out with Glenn Kalisniko, my Muay Thai coach, Glenn Kalisniko from British Columbia, Canada. which, you know, I mean, I received my, you know, certificate under him for, you know, a official trainer, a Muay Thai trainer. And, you know, and I just had, with Jody Poff, I got my 3rd degree black belt in Dragon Kempo and World Dragon Kempo. So I just kept working, and then wrestling and through high school, and then boxing and doing whatever I could, and just got to a point one day where I talked about it. I wanted to do it, and Jerry's, you know, they had the Danger Zone shows in Fort Wayne, Indiana, close to me, and I said, man, I just want to do it. And Jerry goes, well, you're going to do it. And I said, what do you mean I'm going to use? I signed you up. I'm like, huh? I'm like, you did what? He goes, I signed you up. You're fighting.
Nice.
I'm like, oh, okay. And, you know, that was back in the days where there was no commission. And, you know, you go in there, and I had to fight 3 times in one day.
Wow.
In a tournament. You know, and you know, I won I went to the first Danger Zone, and I won the tournament, the heavyweight tournament, and I went back and I won the next one, and then they brought me back for a single fight for, you know, and like the championship, and I won that, and it just kept going. And I was like, man, I'm hooked. I love this, you know. It just kind of went from there, and you know, it kind of grew, and I, you know, met Phyllis Lee. She was a great manager that managed so many people, and she was a great lady for many years, and she, you know, got me to the next level and got me some good exposure and some good contacts and good fights, and it kind of just took off from there.
I see. And then I guess eventually, as you got a little older, you're like, can't keep beating your body up, so you started coaching.
Yeah, I mean, of course, in this sport, you take a lot of abuse to your body. And it got to the point when I was at the highest point of my career, and you know, in the WC and stuff, and I should have been at my top of my game. I wasn't. You know, I wasn't. I was really beat up, really mentally lost. You know what I mean? Everything was just 100 mile an hour. I wasn't focused. I wasn't where I kind of got away from the discipline and the art of it, and kind of was getting caught up in the flash and the glory of it, and kind of lost my way. And you know, man, and I kind of went on a downhill spiral, and I said, you know, I need a break. I'm hurting. I'm injured. I need to refocus, and so I just started kind of training the other guys, because people were getting a hold of me and saying, hey, will you train me? Will you train me? And I was like, okay, yeah, okay. You know, then it just got more, and I was like, okay, wow, I kind of enjoy this, you know? And then this kind of took from there to there, and, you know, the next thing you know, I'm pretty much full-time coaching, and, you know, I really haven't looked back since. I love it, you know what I mean? Coaching was where I felt I was doing my best, giving back to, you know, what the sport gave me and what the art gave me. I was kind of just giving back, and yeah, I kind of went from there.
Nice. And now you're not just a coach, but you're also trying to bring this cool event to America. So it's like you found another calling too. Yeah. I mean, it's weird how you get put in certain places in your life and certain events, and it's all about every door opens, and you know, or you're led to a door, and if it opens, do you walk through? Do you not? Do you get to the next door? You know, it's you know, I always kind of say it's kind of like when you're playing 21. You know, I mean, and you're dealt that ace. You know, how you play it depends on your next card. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you know, of course, if you get a king or jack or something like that, yeah, you're going to play it as 11.
Yeah.
But if you get something else, you might play it something different. And that's kind of the way I look at things, because, you know, you're led to a door. Do you open it? Do you walk through? What do you do? And I've always been the guy that I don't ever want to be that guy that sits back when I'm, you know, 80 years old, and hopefully I make it that long. But and I look at my grandkids someday, and I say, well, I could have, would have, could have, or done.
Exactly.
I want to say I did. Follow your dream. It don't matter. I mean, if you chase your dream and you fail, that's fine. Because if you show me a man that's never failed, I'll show you a man that's never tried.
Exactly.
And so I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to fail. I mean, but as long as I give everything I got to achieve it, then hey, you know what? I'm proud of myself.
Wow. Those are some great words, man. And I think we could end the interview here, and I would love to bring you back in the future if this series on my channel takes off and I start interviewing people every week. I would love to have you back. Is that cool?
Oh yeah, I'd love to come back. I love coming back. I love talking fighting, especially it's my love. So anytime I get that chance, please let me. So hopefully it takes off and I get to come back. I enjoyed it.
Definitely.